Hey there, I am Christy Ruffino, former broke single mom turned CEO of 2 six-figure businesses and best-selling author with 15 books. But it wasn't always like this. Not long ago, I was a hot mess. Yes, I did a lot of things right, but mostly I was throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick. Fast forward past many failed attempts and a few incredible victories, I not only get to share what I've learned along the way, I get to bring together top influencers as they share their empowering stories, insider secrets, and valuable resources that can be used right now to step into your power. So, if you're an ambitious entrepreneur, or possibly one in the making, and you're looking to create a business and life that lights you up, well, then you're in the right place. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. This is Christy Ruffino, the host of the show. And if you are here for the first time, I'm going to warn you, today's show is a little different than most. Usually, I bring on guests that share their stories and strategies to fuel your business success. But today, I'm bringing on a special guest that is going to share her story and strategies to fuel your parenting success. My guest today is Kathleen Shaw, and she has an incredible story how she was adopted at 3 months of age, and she never felt like she belonged. But she ended up by being on this journey to realize that she had a passion to help other children because her childhood was a little challenging, and she ended up by being almost magnetic to other children and still is today. And that sent her on a journey to really have it her mission in life to help kids. And the way to best help kids is to help their parents be good parents of those children. So Kathleen has a pretty extensive educational background, as well as she has 30 years of experience owning her own daycare center. And so she's helped hundreds of kids through many stages of development. And today she's specifically going to talk about potty training. So Kathleen is sharing some amazing strategies. And at the end, she's got a great gift, her Potty Training Made Easy quiz. And she not only is sharing it in all of this in today's show, but she is sharing her story in more detail in our Overcoming Mediocrity Epic Women book. So please connect with Kathleen, get her gift. If you want to connect with her personally, I know she'd love to talk to you about all of the different programs she can help you with, or she has to help you virtually with your potty training journey. So if you have some sort of challenge with your child, I'm sure Kathleen has a solution. So reach out to her. And if you want her to sign an autographed copy of her book, please reach out. I know she'd love to get that in the mail to you ASAP. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kathleen. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Well, I am excited to be here with Kathleen Shaw. Welcome, Kathleen.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Christy.
Yeah, we're going to have so much fun. I have had the pleasure of getting to know you over the last few months, and I just love your heart. I love your passion for being able to help children or help parents help children and be able to just like parenting is a rough journey, right? We don't get a manual. We can read a bunch of books. But it's also I think it's more helpful to have people steer you in the right direction based on experience. And you have a ton of experience.
I do. Thank you so much. I have at least 30 years in the daycare field. I have 3 children of my own that I've raised. It's been a wonderful experience, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited to share it with all of you today.
Yeah. So you have, those are a lot of little feet, a lot of little children that you've worked with over the years.
There has been hundreds that have come through my door. I love
and,
them all.
and a lot of diapers. And the topic we're
Yes.
talking about today is how to get rid of those diapers, right? Potty training make easy. So you are, you have like a whole like library of topics that you can teach and support parents around. But one of your core focuses is your potty training made easy process. But I can bet you back when you were finishing high school and figuring out what you wanted to do with your life, you did not plan. I could be wrong, but I'm sure you did not plan to be a potty training expert. What do you think? Am I wrong?
No, I did not plan to be a potty training expert. I did not even have a clue about potty training at all. But I have trained hundreds and hundreds of children, and I think I'm a pretty good potty trainer myself. I
All
can
right.
be classified probably as an expert.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. I would say with hundreds of potty training success stories, you would be classified as an expert. So let's go back and let's talk about your story, because I know your story because I've had a chance to talk to you about it and learn about your story, but the audience hasn't. So how did you get on this journey?
Well, let's see. My journey has always involved children. I have loved children since I was little. Um, I was born in Canada. I was adopted at 3 months old, and I started babysitting when I was 12. And I've always felt this lack of nurturing since I was little and wanted to do something with children. I started out as a pediatric nurse and changed in the middle of my college career to early childhood. I felt that there was more of a connection for me with young children as well as animals when I was much younger, and switched over to early childhood so that I could make that connection a little bit better. I love the little ones and feel that I am a child magnet. They've always come to me. I'm a human jungle gym during the day, basically. I sit on the floor and I have lots of kids around me. And I wanted to be with my own children when I was a mom. And starting out as an early childhood education teacher, I was able to do that. Once I graduated college, I worked at several different daycare centers and figured out what I wanted and what I didn't want. So I chose to open up my own. And that was in 1993. And since there, I've been training and teaching and working with children ever since.
Wow.
I have decided, after many methods of potty training and challenges and different types of children, maybe not different types of children, but attitudes and
Temperaments and
temperaments,
yeah.
developmental levels, that there really is only one way to potty train, and that's with a tough love approach
Okay.
and a consistency approach, and to potty train when they're ready, not when you're ready. And
Okay.
those are huge keys in potty training.
Yeah. Well, we're going to dive into some tips after the break, but I want to stay focused a little bit on your journey, because you've been working with kids for a long time, and you've been able to develop a lot of different like training processes. And I know potty training is just one of them, but what you've done is, or what you've done is you've created programs like products. I know you've got your potty training course. I know you've got a free gift that you're going to give away at the end. But it really is, I think, a gift for you to be able to help parents in a bigger way, beyond just reading books, because books are great. It's a lot of knowledge based learning. Like you can learn things from books, but when you're taking a course and you're working with somebody that's helping you, right? Because like you said, not every child is the same. The process may be the same, but how you navigate that process with that child may be different. And now you can help that parent on that journey that will be more customized and results focused for that particular child, which I think is super important. Plus, to be able to be in a community with other parents that are on the same journey with you. And I think that's a key part to anything these days is like, we don't need to learn. We don't need to get these results on our own. Why not do it with somebody that's guiding us and with other people that are on the same journey?
There's so much information out there. It's very hard to pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't. And that goes for every child that walks through the daycare center with everything as far as art, temper tantrums, eating, sleeping. Everything nowadays is so much different than it was 30 years ago when I started. You've got the dual parents that are working, parents that don't know what they're doing because there's so much media out there that contradicts what you might think what your parents did when they were potty training you. Everything is different. You've got your gentle parenting that's out there. You've got your military parenting that's out there. You've got their no parenting that's out there. The I don't know what to do, you can do what you want parenting out there. So without a guide or somebody that's been through it so many times, it's very hard to know what you're doing and to not have to follow your neighbor. Is your neighbor doing it this way? Is Sue down the street potty trained? Am I doing it the right way? You have to go based on what your child needs and how your child is responding to what you're teaching. And I think that having the daycare center and having my own kids and having to work around the different developmental stages has just been extremely helpful for me to be able to develop a program that works for everybody in a consistent basis or on a
Yes.
consistent basis has been huge. And I would say even after COVID hit, just everything nowadays is just so different. And I think just having a guide to help you and to get the kids back on track is just so, so helpful. The parents that I've worked with downstairs and outside my daycare in the program, the potty training program that I have, they said just to have that extra weekly meeting and extra support was just so beneficial to them that they would not have been able to do it in the 6 weeks that the program lasts for.
I love that. Well, you know what? I want to take a quick break because I want to make sure that we have enough time in the second segment to really dive into some of these strategies and some of the insights that you've been able to gain over the years. So if it's okay, hang tight, Kathleen, and audience, don't go away because we have some great, like juicy tips to share with you after the break. And you'll have Kathleen's free gift that she's sharing at the end of today's episode. Welcome back, everybody. This is Christy and Kathleen Shaw, and we're talking about potty training made easy, but also parenting made easy. And we're going to focus on mostly potty training topics today or tips today. But I want to kind of back up a little bit because we talked earlier about how, all of the different parenting styles that there are these days. And I know when I was a long time ago when my kids were younger. I would just get like the Dr. Spock book, and then I would talk to the other parents that were in my kids, daycare and preschool and all of that. And I wasn't working full time. So we had a lot of parents that would share information, and we would like help each other. We'd support each other. And we don't have that these days, though, because like you said earlier, most families are have dual working parents. And so it's hard for a parent, whether it's the mom or the dad, who's ever, there tends to be one that's more involved with the kids, not always, but it tends to be one that's more involved with the kids' major developmental steps. I could be wrong. But either way, when a parent is so focused on making a living, taking care of the house, just juggling life, it's hard for them to really spend a lot of time, not only to learn how to be a good parent, because you can't just be a good parent. You have to work at it. Like, you have to learn, you have to, it doesn't come natural. But not only learn how to do the right things, but then learn how to navigate each individual kid, because if you have more than one kid, every kid needs to be worked with in a different style, right? So I think sometimes parents just are so overwhelmed that they deal with the pressing needs and just let the kids just do their own thing. But then what happens is, I'm sure later down the road, now you got these kids that are a hot mess. So can you comment on that a little bit?
Oh, I sure can.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
I find that we have such a set schedule in the daycare that the children are going at a set time consistently throughout the day. And then when they get home, it all just goes to pot because dinner's got to get made. You have one sibling that might be 3 and one sibling that might be 9 months old. So you've got the 3-year-old that needs to go potty, the 9-month-old that's crying and needs a bottle. Guess who's going to get lost in the shuffle is the one that has to go potty. So then there's going to be an accident. Then somebody's going to get upset. The one that needs the bottle is going to be upset because the parent is upset that's holding them, feeding them, because the other one had an accident. So it's just a whole disarray of discombobulation at the house, saying, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Why is my child not being potty trained? What can I do differently? Which is where the consistency, the schedule, and everything that falls into place with my guidance will help it go by so much quicker. And I found this with a couple people that I've talked to, both at-home moms and moms that are working full time. They don't have time to make other friends, so they don't have companions that are potty training at the same time, because it's nice to have a buddy or someone that you can talk to. People don't make friends as much as they used to. People are very much at home. You have a lot of people that are working from home, so they're not getting out and making the friends that they used to. I find that moms are struggling to make friends. They don't have the mom groups that they used to. They're afraid to go out. They're afraid to get sick. Or they don't have the time to go out and do that. So they depend on, if their child is in daycare, they depend on the people that are working there to help train their children. Or they're depending on how their parents did it. And their parents did it very differently than it is nowadays. It's just not the same. And to have somebody like me that is up on the times and can help you guide is crucial.
You mentioned earlier that one of the key pieces is to make sure that you kind of embark on this potty training journey when the child is ready. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I mean, when my kids were potty trained, my daughter she potty trained much sooner than my son. And I was like trying to get my son, like, come on, come on, you can do this kind of thing. But it just wasn't working. And I was getting frustrated. And so I think, that may be a case where you do have to wait until they're ready, but you can't wait indefinitely? Like what happens if they're not ready, if you're not seeing the signs and they're just maybe a lazy potty trainer?
There are lazy potty trainers and there are very early potty trainers. I was very lucky with both my children. All three of my children were very early potty trainers, but I think that's because of me and I was a pusher. But they were accepting of it. Some signs that you can look for are, is your child dry for a couple hours at a time? Are you noticing that? Are they starting to hide when they're ready to go potty, especially when they're pooping? Are they starting to pull at their soiled diaper, whether it's urine or a BM? If they're doing some of those things, then they know what they're doing in their diaper, and it's time for you to start introducing it. And the best
Mm.
times to do that is before before bath time, before bedtime, when they wake up from nap time, or when they wake up from nighttime, because those are the most, I guess, the easiest times to go on the potty, because you want those to be successful. You want your child to see that they're going to the bathroom, because then that's going to make them excited. And then once you start doing the little small successes, then you can start with the larger successes. But you really need to make sure that they're ready and knowing what they're doing, because if your child's bladder muscles are not ready, it's just going to be a battle. And you don't want potty training to be a battle, because it's just going to take you twice as long and it's going to be frustrating for both of you. And that's not what you want.
So that was great. So I, I guess I didn't realize so everything you said that indicates when a child is ready to be potty trained. I remember them, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily realize that we have to wait for their bladder muscle to be ready too. And so now you've got these signs where you see that the child is cognitively ready, like they feel the shame, they feel maybe the discomfort, they feel that it's after they've soiled their diaper that they don't like that, right? So that is one piece. But what about the physical aspect of it? Like, how do you know when they're physically ready to be able to now control that bladder muscle?
Because they'll start going on the potty when you bring them to the potty, or they might even
Ah,
start asking. If they start
gotcha.
asking to go potty, absolutely bring them to the potty. Even if
Yeah,
you're out in public, it's going to take time and you're going to have to give yourself time to let them go potty. But if they ask you to go potty, no matter where you are, you need to make the time and go. Because if you deny them, that's just showing them that you don't care and that you're
right.
not giving them the time.
And then it's not really that important. And if it's not important to you, then it's not going to be important to them. And then
Correct.
it'll just prolong that. Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So say we know if somebody's listening right now, they are recognizing these signs and they start these small little changes, right? Putting them on the pot at these different times. And now they're getting some sort of result. What would be like the first tip that you want to make sure that the parents know around how to make sure that they continue to be successful with this journey?
If you're going to start this journey, then you need to stick with this journey.
Oh,
It's not start and stop and start and stop, because then your child is going to understand that, oh, okay, I can do this for a couple of days. This is fun. And then they're going to realize, oh, this is work. I'm going to have to stop playing, or I'm going to have to stop watching Bluey and go potty. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to pee in my pants. So if you're going to start this journey, you're going to need to continue this journey. And
yeah.
that's going to also have you be consistent and have some tough love, because it's not always going to be easy.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
I was going to say, you as the parent are going to be the one that's going to have to lead this.
Yeah, and it's going to be kind of what I want to say. I was going to say annoying. It's going to be not even uncomfortable. It's going to be
Challenging.
challenging. Yeah, because you may be out somewhere, you may be out for dinner, you may be going to the playground, right? Or something where there's not always the perfect scenario for you to make sure you get them to some toilet. So I remember when my kids were younger, I had this potty seat cover that would fold up into like fours, and then you unfold it and you put it on any potty seat. So that way that big hole became smaller. And it was also a way to keep it clean, right? Because then you just throw it in the dishwasher when you went out in public. But sometimes it was really difficult to stop what you're doing. And just basically, like, there were times we had to like just stop driving and find a bathroom, because that has to, the importance level has to be just as, it has to be strong for you. Otherwise it won't be strong for the kid.
Absolutely. You have to be ready 100% of the time. You have to have a travel bag ready
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. What are things that we can put in that travel bag? Like, what do
You
they sell
have,
these days? It's been a long time for me.
it's something you can put together. You have extra clothes. You have
Yes.
pull-ups or diapers, whichever you choose to use. You have extra wipes because you're going to have to clean up a mess. You might have to put a towel down on their car seat if they're in underwear and they have an accident. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can even carry an extra little portable toilet in the back of your car.
Ooh, that's a great idea. Like a little portable potty.
Yes.
Huh.
I do have a PDF file for that, as well as to what you can have for traveling.
Oh, that's
I've,
great.
yes, very, very important to be ready.
All right. So consistency. What else?
That's the tough love as well. Tough love and consistency. Gentle parenting is not always going to be working on this, because your child is going to fight you with this when they don't want to stop.
Yeah. All right. What else? So we've got consistency, tough love. I would imagine you'd have to have patience, right? Because we can't, if the child does have an accident, we can't necessarily scold them for that, right? Because that's going to happen. That's part of the process.
It is going to happen, but they have to understand that, for example, if they're playing, they have to be able to know when to stop and give themselves enough time to get to the bathroom, and that it's not okay just to sit and pee in your pants,
Right.
because then it's going to take them twice as long to have to change their clothes and get cleaned up to have to go back and play. So
Yeah.
if they want to continue to playing what they're playing with, they're going to have to stop and go. Because if this becomes a pattern, so what we do in the daycare is, if this becomes a pattern and they don't stop what they're doing to go potty, they're not going to be able to go back to that activity.
Oh, that's good.
So if it's something fun and something that they really love to do, they have to be able to stop to go potty and come back to it, because that's just being lazy.
Yeah. Well, and making sure they understand that and sticking with that, right? Because you have to be consistent with that rule. Otherwise, they're going to know that they can do whatever they want. But if they are successful, what are your thoughts? Or do we reward them? How do we reward them? How do we go about this with positive reinforcements?
Depending on the child and depending on what you as a parent like. For example, we at the daycare use M&Ms. So if you go pee on the potty, you get 1 M&M. If you poop on the potty, you get 3 M&Ms. And if you don't want to use candy, you can find something else. We had a little boy here who used fruit snacks.
Ooh,
So he got fruit snacks when he went potty. And if you have an accident, you don't get fruit snacks.
yeah.
If you want, you can use Fruit Loops. You can use Cheerios. What other things have people used?
Raisins, maybe, if you want to get a little bit more.
Raisins. I know when I trained my last son, I know pooping was a big issue for him, so we used monster trucks. So
Ooh,
I went to the store and I bought a whole bunch of monster trucks. I put them all out on my bed, and I told him, I said, every time you pooped, you could come pick out a monster truck. And I said, I don't care how big the poop is, it could be as big as a raisin. And if he pooped on that potty, he could go right to my room and pick out a monster truck. But the important key to that is to have the items in your house so they could see them. So
yeah.
that's instant gratification. And I had those in my car. So if he pooped in that little potty and we were out and about, he could get a monster truck even when we were on the go.
Oh, that's great. I love that. What if they had an accident? Did you take a monster truck away?
Nope,
No? Okay, that's
nope.
great.
It was not taken away because he had already earned it.
Okay.
You could also use stamps. You could also use stickers.
Stickers, yeah. Love that.
Sometimes those don't go as far because sometimes the candy is a little bit more rewarding because it's something yummy and delicious. But if they
Yeah.
love stamps and stickers, by all means, you can use that.
Yeah. I know what my
So,
daughter did for a while is she had like a poster on the wall with like a sticker where you collect all these stickers. So they just loved being able to get those stickers. It was such a not anymore. They're older now and they want bigger things. But when
yes,
they're little, it's great if you can start them off with stickers and things like that because they're easy to give and cheaper.
even small things for girls could be like the little Polly Pockets,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Hot
even like a
Wheels for
little,
boys. Yeah.
yep. So all kinds of those little things. I mean, I know they're, I guess you could call them bribes, but it
It's
works.
rewards. Hey, adults love rewards, right? I know I do.
Absolutely. And instant gratification is what's most important. Don't say, if you go on the potty, we'll go to the store and buy. That doesn't work.
Right.
They want it right there, right then. Even if you line them up along the tub thing on the or the thing on the tub so they could see it while they're going. And you could talk about it while they're sitting there going poop. There's just make it exciting for them. It's just
Yeah.
they love it.
Well, and they're young too, so they need that visual stimulation,
Yes,
right? When
absolutely.
when they see that, they want it, and so they're going to work harder because they see it as opposed to a concept.
Make it fun, do a potty dance. I mean, I look like a fool when I'm potty training the kids downstairs in the daycare.
Yeah, but it works, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Kathleen, thank you so much for sharing so much great information. I know you have a bunch of other programs you help your clients with. And today you're going to specifically share your potty training made easy quiz. And so I encourage anybody to grab that. Kathleen's going to share what that is in more detail in a moment. But not only will you get that quiz, but then you'll be able to get a bunch of other resources. I know she mentioned her travel PDF. So she's got a ton of resources and trainings that once you get connected with her, you'll have access or learn how to get access to her other resources. So, Kathleen, tell us what this
Yes.
potty training made easy quiz is all about. Give us the lowdown.
There's 5 questions on the quiz. And if you can answer 3 of them or close to answering 3 of them to a yes, then your child is very close to potty training and you can start that journey. There's a QR code on there that you can grab this quiz and it has some information how you can get in touch with me. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help.
Well, thank you so much, Kathleen, for sharing today. We typically don't have parenting experts on, but you are one of the women in our Overcoming Mediocrity Epic Women book. And I just love your mission in the world. And I see a lot of experts in this online business space, and I am not seeing a lot of them that are focused specifically on young adult raising, like working with young adults, through the potty training and the developmental ages. So, and I think it's so needed these days. I believe more so than in the past because of
I,
all of the different changes in our world.
I believe so. And especially after COVID, I've seen such a need for it. I just, it breaks my heart to see how much these kids really need nowadays more than ever. It's just, I just, my heart goes out to these kids.
Yeah. Well, history has shown that during challenging times in our economy, that's when some emerging businesses have come together in a strong way. And I see this whole parenting niche really ramping up. And I'm excited for you. And more importantly, I'm excited for all the parents that have this extra layer of support out there and able to get it in an easy way. Get it online, get it on demand, get it when it's fits into their schedule. And I just love that you're going to be able to help them with them. So I thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Christy, for having me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you all for sticking with us to the end of this episode. If you learned anything from Kathleen today, please share that. And please share her potty training quiz. You can find the link to that in our show notes below. What you will do is just go ahead and click on that. It will take you to our gift vault, where you'll be able to connect with Kathleen as well as get gifts from other past guests. And if you keep that link, you'll be able to also return back to that in the future and always continue to get gifts from our future guests. And I want to thank you, Kathleen, and I want to encourage all of the listeners to please go to whatever platform that you listen and show us some love so we can continue to get guests like Kathleen on the show and continue to inspire you to great things and use that through stories and strategies to fuel your success. So thanks, everybody. And most importantly, thanks, Kathleen.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Mastery Unleashed podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams by turning their mess into their greatest message and following their purpose to help the people who need their newfound wisdom and resources. To learn more, visit masteryunleashedpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to this show.